Hello, I'm going to be going over the pros and cons and the differences between using an ILS approach and a GPS LPV approach. So the first one we're going to have is going to be the ILS, your instrument landing system. The way it works is there's two antennas at the end of the runway that you're shooting the approach for, and you got your lateral guidance, which is going to show your left or right deviations, and then you have your glide slope, which is going to show your up and down deviations. The pros for using the ILS is that, according to the FAA, it's the one and only true precision approach for coming into an airport. So that can be for, if you want to use it for your alternate minimums, you need 600 feet versus 800 for a non-precision. Another pro for an ILS is that it can get you down low for Category 1 approach. You can expect about 200 feet above ground level as your minimums. The cons with the system, since it is an older system, you can get interference of the antennas while you're on your approach. That's why you'll have that airports on the taxiway will have a whole short area for instrument. So if the weather's pretty bad and everyone's expected to be using the ILS on that approach, they're going to want you to taxi and hold short on that instrument hold line. Another issue you can have at like some smaller airports where you have highways that are driving by the approach end. If you have large trucks, school buses going through that area when you're coming down on minimums, it can interference with those antennas coming up to your aircraft and give you the improper reading. Another con of ILS is the angular sensitivity issues. So when you first get established on it, like say you get your localizer, you're about 4 miles out, those needles for your deviation aren't going to move very fast for the small corrections that you're going to make. But the closer that you get to the airport or this runway that you're shooting the approach for, that sensitivity is going to increase dramatically, which if you're actually going to use this ILS to go down to 200 feet, probably around the time you're around 500 feet, it's going to be real quick how those needles are going to be moving, which can make it difficult to get it down safely or not go missed. We move on to the GPS with LPV. This is going to be based off of the WAAS GPS system. You have satellites in the sky, and then you have a ground-based transmitter or receiver that they're all communicating to know your exact position. The pros for the GPS LPV is a WAAS GPS is extremely accurate, up to 7.6 meters. The sensitivity that you get on an ILS isn't as great in a GPS. It's going to scale it down for you, so they're not going to move as fast. It's still going to show your deviations and where you need to be, but it's not going to be as difficult coming down to minimums. Also, with a GPS LPV, you can expect also to get down to 200 feet above the ground before touchdown, before going missed. And another pro is it's easier to use, especially like if you're using a G1000 or a G430 and you're using that for your flight plan on your cross country, you're already using GPS. So you can go ahead and plug it in, the GPS approach that you want to use at this airport, and it's going to work hand in hand with it versus having to switch over to the ILS instruments and then remembering to do that. The cons for GPS LPV is, according to the FAA, it is not a precision approach. The reason they've done that is to save costs because of all the costs that go into making it certified as a precision approach. When they want to continuously change the approaches, it's going to cost a lot of money, so they decide not to make it a precision approach. If you're planning across country and you have your airport destination and then you need to pick your alternate, like I said, with GPS, it's not a precision approach. So your alternate minimums for that airport, you have to use 800 feet instead of 600. So hopefully you're not flying in some really bad weather. I mean, that's pretty low. But yeah, that's the differences, the pros and cons. I personally like GPS. I think it's much easier. But yeah, thank you.